What is up, guys? It is Joe. We're back. We're talking ball about the Cats, and in today's video, we're recapping a massive win over Oklahoma State. K-State popping out with a 42-20 victory over the Oklahoma State Cowboys in Week 5. It was exactly what the doctor ordered. The boys are back on track, and I'm going to give you my full thoughts and break down the offense and defense. In the past, I've kept these videos about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to try to go a few minutes extra just so I can kind of really hit every topic rather than trying to speed through them. That being said, I really appreciate all the views these videos have done. I appreciate everyone who's jumped in and checked out some of the content. It's been a really cool thing to see, and just to get to interact with all you guys is always a blessing. So I wanted to say that real quick before I get into my thoughts. In addition, if you like the channel, if you like the videos, be sure and hit that subscribe button, as it does help me out immensely as we keep trying to grow this channel. It's a great way to show your support and a great way to see more K-State content. I'm also getting that tattoo at 3,000 subs, so you don't want to miss that. The first takeaway I have here, and this could be kind of a 1A, 1B situation with a later take, the first thing I want to say on this is that this is Avery Johnson. This is the quarterback you know and love. This is the kid that came to Manhattan out of Mays High School, joined the Wildcats, and really sparked the change as a top high school recruit staying home to play for the Cats. This is the kid you know and love. Conversely, the first couple weeks of the season, that's still the kid you know and love. And I want people to understand that, because this season, watching from social media, watching on the sidelines a little bit, you see a lot of the back and forth of, man, we're not good, our quarterback's this, our quarterback's this, Avery's incredible, Avery's awful. I get that's the volatility of sports, but it's time that we understand something. This is a kid who's learning every single week. There's going to be hiccups in that road. The screen pass he had that was picked, that's a hiccup. That being said, the upside of accounting for 5 total touchdowns, where you can run a 4-3 or a 10-1 track guy type situation, you can do anything on the football field that most quarterbacks in the nation cannot. Avery Johnson is the only quarterback in college football. Maybe there's 2 or 3 guys that can do it. I don't want to discount Jalen Milroe. I don't want to discount Oklahoma's new quarterback. Avery Johnson is one of 3 or 4 quarterbacks that can take the snap and immediately sprint this way to go up the field and then still find his way to the end zone. That's the thing you see from a guy like Avery Johnson. But you also get the beauty of him developing as a passer. You see the beautiful ball that Jace Brown on the sideline for the giant touchdown, get the monkey off our back, get our first touchdown of the season to a receiver. You also see the kid that can outrun anybody on the football field, laterally, vertically, whatever the case is. You get so much of the best of both worlds. And this was his best performance of the career. I mean, you could argue that Texas Tech was the best performance of his career because it was in a huge situation. K-State needed it, and you're coming in as the backup guy starting for Will Howard, or coming in for Will Howard after that first drive. But this is his best pure game of his college football career. Everybody saw it. Everybody knows it. But when you talk to the teammates, the guys aren't saying like, yeah, this is so incredible, we're so happy. Like, obviously they're happy for the guy and they're cheering him on, but they're like, this is Avery. This is the kid we see in practice every day. This is what he does. And nobody was shocked. Nobody was surprised by that. That's the beauty of what we're seeing. With Avery Johnson, every single week is going to get better. Yes, there's going to be the BYU games here and there that had those hiccups of, man, that's not a great read, or this happened, this happened. There's rookie mistakes that come with that, but the kid is developing at such a high level already that the dude is literally putting up numbers that can compete with Heisman winners and Heisman favorites. I'll explain that here in a second, but I just kind of wanted to preface this to say that you see the highs, you see the lows. That's all the nature of the beast here. That's the kid we know and love under center. Avery Johnson, when he gets to the point where he has a really high floor and it's just every single week you're getting 100%, this is the best player on the field, which granted, you kind of already have that already. This is going to be a dangerous product. Kansas State is the best team in the Big 12 when Avery Johnson plays that way. When he's cool, calm, collective, and loose, that's the beautiful thing you want to see. If he has those hiccups, the 2 interception games or the, Mr. Reed here, just not on mechanic-wise here, that stuff happens. So I just wanted to kind of preface that you give the kid credit for this, but you also understand, hey, this is not everything he's here to prove. He's here to do so much more, and I'm so excited to watch it every single week because the kids must see TV right now. That's the realistic way to look at this. And on that topic, expanding even further, I guess let me explain my Heisman comment earlier. The current frontrunner for the Heisman, it's been split a little bit between the Boise State running back and now Jalen Milroe and Cam Ward. Jalen Milroe just had a massive win over Georgia. Am I saying that Kansas State has beat Georgia? I am not saying that. No one is saying that. But when you look at the sheer numbers, Avery Johnson this season, 1,200 total yards, 11 touchdowns. Jalen Milroe, the Heisman frontrunner, 1,237 yards, so 37 more yards and 18 touchdowns, 7 more touchdowns. Sure, that BYU game messes up the stats a little bit. You don't convert in the red zone very often, to the red area. It's just something I wanted to highlight, saying this is the kid's 6th career start. And he's got Heisman-esque numbers. That's the beautiful part of what you're seeing. And the dude is just an exciting factor. So great props to Avery for this bounce-back game. In the biggest nut-up-or-shut-up game of the season, that's what you do. That's how you come through. That's how you prove yourself, man. Avery Johnson with a massive, massive W this weekend. So shout out to the boy there. Moving on. The second thing, this is my 1B part of that argument. DJ Giddens is the best running back in the Big 12, and he's a top 3 back in America. Let me preface the top 3 thing. The number one running back in the country plays for Boise State right now. The kid's got like 250 more rushing yards than everybody, and he's got 8 total touchdowns on the year. That dude is number one. I'm not going to dispute that. But DJ is so quiet, so calm, so collective that outside of the Kansas State fan base and select other Big 12 fans, the kid doesn't get the national media respect. As an update, after this game, he put up with 187 total rushing yards, averaging 12.5 yards per carry. DJ's leading the Big 12 in rushing yards. That's ahead of Taj Brooks. It's ahead of Devin Neal. That's ahead of, Ollie Gordon, who is below many, many, many people on the list at the point. The beauty is that the kid doesn't get too high or too low. He is here all the time. DJ knows, hey, man, I got to do my business. I got to go about my work and get stuff done. That's what he does every single week on the football field, and it is such a calming presence at a position where you don't have that all the time. I mean, if he keeps balling and keeps on this trajectory, he's going to be a Doak Walker finalist at the worst. Like, that's the beautiful part you see with DJ Giddens, and his presence needs to be appreciated because you don't get walk-on kids that immediately turn into All-American levels every single year. Somehow Kansas State does. You don't pick kids out of Junction City and out of Waterloo, Iowa, and you don't pick kids out of the greater Kansas City area that aren't going to play football and turn them into first-round NFL draft picks. Kansas State does. It is such a test to the character of these guys, not the physical ability or the mental ability immediately. It's the fact that these dudes want to work. They have the opportunity in front of them, and they go and take it. You've seen it with Ben Sinnott. You've seen it with DJ Giddens. You've seen it with a guy like Deuce and Cooper Beebe. No, they're not walk-ons, but they were severely under-recruited guys. You see what they can be. And it's a continual story that's written every single year. There's always a walk-on kid or a 2-star, 3-star kid that didn't get any other love, didn't have any other Power 5 offers, and then you come out and you're a first-team All-Big 12 player, and you go on to make a successful NFL career for 10-plus years. That's what DJ Giddens is doing, and he absolutely deserves to have that opportunity. He's just a special back. I mean, you don't see guys that are 6'1", 212 with his ball carrier vision and his juke sideline to sideline. Like, you do not see many people like that. There's guys like Adrian Peterson where you're bigger, faster, stronger, run through people. And then you get guys like Deuce where you're smaller than people, but you have so much shiftiness, or Dylan Edwards where you're just an absolute burner. You get so many different types of running backs. DJ Giddens has taken a little bit of everybody's game and put it into one humble approach to being the best, and that's what he continues to do. So DJ Giddens, man, hats off to you. You continue to ball out, and I'm excited to see this career progress. I don't have the exact stats. There are people that do out there on Twitter and YouTube and social media, but he's already a top 10 rusher at Kansas State. I believe he's currently 9th right now in the all-time rushing record. The dude, to start his career off, he was the 2nd or 3rd fastest back to 2,000 yards. DJ Giddens deserves his flowers. Let's give him to him right now. A quick word about the O-line. They were incredible. I was really, really happy with the O-line. Zero pressure, it felt like, in Avery Johnson's face. The one play where they got towards Avery was the pick that he had early in the first half, or early in the second quarter, excuse me. And then there was the pressure on the touchdown run for Avery, which the beautiful thing about Avery, and it's outside of his instincts that he has. Like, nobody else has Avery's instincts. His ability is like Lamar Jackson's. It is impossible to sack these dudes that run a 4-3 that are impossible to take down in the open field. It is just a guessing game. You're saying, all right, maybe if I go to the right, he'll also go to the right. Maybe if he goes left here, I'm going left and I get lucky. But 9 times out of 10, I'm not stopping this dude if it's one-on-one in the open field. So that absolutely helps out the O-line, but the O-line stepped up in a big way. They performed, they moved dudes back. It was a big deal to see. So shout out to the guys on the front line there. Shout out to some of the new faces in the room as well that have been thrown in there for injury. Now moving on, I want to say something real quick just to get it off my chest because I've been a quiet supporter. I will say, maybe not quiet, that's probably not the right word to say about me, but I've been believing in Connor Riley. I have been. I have on the channel. I've been a believer of Connor Riley. This week was a perfect get-right week for the dude. He understood the process of, okay, we're rushing for a $180. Avery's slinging the rock. You cannot defend us right now. Every single time he wanted to dial something up different, it worked. There was maybe 1 or 2 highlight plays you could say, well, dang, I wish this happened. The best part about Connor Riley, obviously there's things that we don't know personally. I don't know the guy personally. I don't know what he's like, but I've heard so many glowing reviews about the dude. The best part is he has the opportunity to learn in a coaching staff that's not going to throw him under the bus if he has some learning hiccups here and there. Like, if you call the wrong play and you say, crap, I wish I had this situation, then you learn from it. Some coaches aren't that. I mean, Colin Klein was getting screamed at by Mike Elko in his first career game with Texas A&M just to run the football. This is game 1, the second quarter of action. Hearing run the effing football. That's not the situation with Chris Klieman. That's not the situation with Connor Riley. You have the opportunity to learn in an offense that everybody dreams to control. That's the situation you're in here. And so Connor Riley, please give the dude some respect. He's on pace in my mind. I truly think he's going to be a top half, if not top 5, top 3 coordinator in the Big 12 Conference. When it's all said and done on the offensive side of the ball, there's some innovative dudes. Obviously, Andy Kotelnicki was incredible last season at KU. He's now at Penn State. The alley for Connor Riley, if he can continue to get his feet under him, it's there. So be sure and give the man some love because he absolutely does deserve it. Super quick defensive thoughts, and then I'll give you some overall thoughts and get out of here. But The thing on defense I wanted to see, Jacob Parrish is one of the most consistent players I've ever seen. And that's a rarity. He continually shows up. It doesn't matter that he's 5'10". It doesn't matter that he's matched up against a guy that's 6'5", 6'6". His effort, his technique, and his discipline is there every single week, and you cannot take that for granted. When you have a dude in the secondary, you can say, okay, what's going to happen on the right side of the field? Jacob Parrish is there. That's all that's going to happen. He'll figure it out. What's going to happen here and here? When you have DBs that you can rely on and trust, it changes the entire game plan. Joe Klanderman is a genius. He always is, man. The adjustments are incredible. Kansas State secondary always bounces back after a tough performance. There's hiccups along the way. They're a bend-don't-break style defense. They're going to get got occasionally. But they were tested early in the secondary. They have been all season long. Jacob Parrish, Marquise Siegel, those are guys that are deserving to say, okay, we got through this. We're learning together. We're getting there. Their consistency is rare. Now, this isn't necessarily a shot at anybody, but I liked what I saw out of Jordan Dunbar. I liked what I saw in him there in the second half. He didn't play a ton, but you saw a big 34 out there playing on an island at cornerback. He had some good reps. It was maybe 3 or 4 passes thrown his way. He didn't allow a catch. He looked really, really good. I know this is pretty entry level because we didn't see a ton out of him, but give him some more run. I would like to see him out there a little bit more. So Jordan Dunbar, as he gets more confident, if you remember, he was a late addition. This was, somewhere around August or so, early August or late July, but he got there to K-State a little bit later than normal. He's there. He's getting things figured out. He's getting there. With time and effort, he's getting there. I thought he had one of the better coverages on the entire day. He had a really nice 50-50 ball that he played perfectly, got the pass breakup, and it was awesome. I'd like to see more of Dunbar personally. Super quick, last thing on the defensive side of the ball, pay attention to Uso Seumalo. I don't know the severity of his injury. I don't know if it's been reported. I'm sure it has from people that are much smarter and much more plugged in than I am, but Uso is a big loss. Does that mean we see Malcolm Alcorn Crowder jump inside? Does that mean you see more of Damian Ilalio or what the case is? Hopefully you get Uso back soon. 1, because of his impact. He's an incredible defensive player. You need him out there. And 2, because the kid continues to deal with injury. Give him a full healthy season. We got to get him right at this point because it's a tough thing to see. So be sure and pay attention to what happens with Uso, and I'll keep you updated if I hear anything. I imagine it won't come from me originally, but you will hear some type of update in the channel in the future on Uso. And lastly, an overarching thought. You're 4-1 heading into the bye. Obviously, the hiccup against BYU, it happens. It was a flukish game. I don't think the 85 Bears could have won that football game the way the momentum was going. But you're where you want to be. Everything is still ahead of you for the taking. Kansas State could still make, obviously they could still make the Big 12 title game and win it, but they could still make the college football playoff as an at-large bid. If they can show up and get these consistently impressive wins, Kansas State still has a shot. So don't count them out, certainly. Colorado, I'll talk about Colorado a little bit later. Don't discount them. They just beat UCF. They were a good team. I know that it's kind of the general idea to say, well, it's Colorado. Deion doesn't build with depth. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. They have some stars over there, man. They have some stars with Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and it's going to be a challenge because the Big 12 as a whole, there's no one that's a consistent winner. There's not a team that's better than everybody every time. Utah is better than Arizona. They lost. K-State was better than BYU. They lost bad. And obviously this isn't like an overreaction saying K-State's immediately better than BYU or Utah is consistently better than Arizona. But heading into the game on paper, that's the better team. Neither of those teams lived up to it, and you lose. The Big 12 is unpredictable every single week. Don't be the team on upset alert. Be the team that takes care of business. That's all we're looking for each and every week. 1-0, the boys get a much long rest. This is the biggest key. We'll see what happens after the bye week. It's a legacy game for Chris Klieman. Coming out of the bye, it'll be a good week to see where the boys are at. But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Once again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you if you made it all the way through. Even if you didn't, shout out to you. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Go Cats.